we're gonna do a review of the Peak Design 2-in-1 travel backpack, and you're gonna wanna strap in. Grab a drink, alcoholic, caffeinated, your pick, because you're gonna need it. Because here at Nomads Nation, we've been reviewing the world's best travel and EDC gear for the past 7 years, and this is a bag that's trying to do both. A little bit of travel, a little bit of EDC when you get to your destination. So we're gonna use our experience to tear this thing apart and let you know if it's worth the price. We're gonna pack the bags out. We're gonna pack the bags out. We're gonna double check their advertised capacities so you can decide if this is the travel setup for you. And you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because if you're not quite sold on the 2-in-1 travel backpack, I will then make some other alternative travel bag recommendations that might be a bit more up your alley. En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santo. Amen. This is gonna be long, let's get into it. Let's talk about the gist of the Peak Design 2-in-1 travel backpack. The name's not a mystery, guys. This is Peak Design going for it. And what are they going for, you might ask? Well, they're going for a solution for a problem that I know a lot of people want fixed. And I know this because I've read every single comment in the history of Nomads Nation. One of the most common requests or questions that I get is, what's the perfect bag fusion? I want a travel backpack that is big and awesome, and then when I get to my destination, I just remove a part of it and boom, my day bag. Hence the system that everybody or lots of people have wanted, but nobody was actually confident enough to tackle, except Peak Design. And of course it's Peak Design who tries this, because Peak Design, as their name suggests, you know, they take their design very seriously. And I've always appreciated Peak Design because they do not back away from risks. And this is as risky as it gets. And there's so many compromises that have to be made to even try and do something like this. We'll talk about it throughout the entire review, but first, let's talk about some of the bag's top features. Most notably, we got 2 bags, our day pack, our travel pack, and then they can combine via zipper. The travel pack has 2 water bottle holders, a quick access front pocket, clamshell style main compartment opening, shoulder straps that stow away via magnets. I love that. And a stowable hip belt that is really hard to get to, but it's there. And then for the day pack, we've got this new aesthetic, which I'm actually very excited to talk about. And also 2 water bottle holders, sort of on the front here. Very gnarly design, in my opinion. Quick access top pocket. It's a half panel opener, gets you inside, and a luggage pass-through holder that allows you to carry your bag vertically on your suitcase. Now, Peak Design claims that the main backpack is 35 liters capacity. The day pack is 15 liters capacity. And when they're combined together, they give you 42 liters of capacity. Now, I failed many math classes, geometry, calculus, algebra. Math was not my strong suit. But I can tell you that 35 and 15 do not equal when Peak Design is saying 42. And then Peak Design says when they're carried separately, you get 50 liters of capacity. So let me explain what all that means as we're double checking these measurements. Because measuring the volume of a bag is more of an art than a science. And it's not as easy of a formula as you'd think, because these are soft goods. And what that means is Peak Design is acknowledging that when you totally pack out this, you're not gonna be able to fit this on. So you actually have to reduce the amount that you're packing in this main compartment, otherwise this one is not gonna fit. Does that make sense, right? It's too bulgy. These are the realities of soft goods, and this is the complication of making a 2-in-1 product. There's so many compromises, guys. Day bag, full. Quick dimensions check. We got a height of 18 inches, a width of 12 inches, and about 5.5 inches depth. Now for our volume check, we're coming in at actually under 10 liters for the main compartment only of this day pack. There's a bit more space in this pocket here and the 2 water bottle pockets, but balls don't lie. I'm gonna say this is gonna carry a little bit more like a 12, 13 liter backpack than it is an actual 15. Yeah, actually I wanna double check now that I'm thinking of it. So I refilled this bag with the balls, just checking how much volume we have in this front pocket. You can see it does have some of its own independent volume. But yeah, not much, not enough to get us to 15 liters. Stand by what I said, you're at like 10 to 12 liters for this bag, somewhere in that range. I'll see the travel bag. Main compartment, loaded up. This pocket here doesn't have any volume of its own, so the main compartment should tell the whole story. We got a height of 21 inches, 13 inches width, and depth of around 8.5 inches. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 liters, just slightly over. So I think in terms of actual usable space, if you count both the water bottle pockets, it might be at like 30 to 33. But I think it's definitely a little bit closer in capacity to the 30-liter side than it is to the 35-liter side. Let's weigh these bags individually. Smaller bag, 1.5 pounds, and the larger bag is 3.7 pounds. Right now, this combo comes in 3 different color options. Per the usual, Peak Designs bags are pretty heavily padded, which means they're gonna look the same whether they are filled out or empty. This is what the bags look like when they're empty. And here you can see what they look like combined and worn on the Nomads Nation team. All Peak Design bags are covered by their lifetime warranty, and it is one of the best warranties in the game. Because A, it covers everything, and B, they actually honor it. And for all that, this duo with the hip belt runs around 400 USD. Ooh, that is not a cheap travel system. But innovation always comes at a cost. And Peak Design has the killer lifetime warranty, and they use some of the best materials and fabrics in the game. So what we gotta do is determine if that 400 USD is worth it. And it should be noted, if at any point in this review you think this bag is worth it, and you're gonna make a purchase or you wanna find out more information, we do suggest doing so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps to support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best gear reviews on the web. Thank you very much. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about the front of the Peak Design Travel Backpack 2-in-1. We're gonna start by talking about the aesthetic, because there's 2 important notes about the aesthetic of this bag. First up, Peak Design's new aesthetic of this bad boy, their daypack, which I think looks mean. I think the water bottles in the front with this fold and the 2 lines coming down right here, I think this aesthetic just looks awesome. So that's the first thing to note, like, this is cool. But the second thing to note is this, when combined with this, is an absolute tank on your back. And this is just like the nature of a couple of things that we have going on here. First of all, a very padded backpack, right? This is not gonna be a bag that sort of flows with the wind and what you pack. It's not malleable. It is a drum. It is a box. It is literally a tank. And I'm gonna keep saying so many times in this review, guys, there's so many compromises that had to be made to make little bag attach to bigger bag. And that created more of a tank-like silhouette. Because you can't have this be all floppy. Because if this is floppy, then this is going to be so freaking hard to attach. It's impossible to attach magnetically. They could have used hardware, but then it's finicky. So the best they could do, Peak Design said, we have to go with a zipper. And I also wanna say, I think that this is kind of the end game for a 2-in-1 bag. I actually think that although I am not personally into this, if you are into this, if you are looking for that bop, that 2-in-1, right? I don't know if it'll ever get any better than this, because it's a really, really hard thing to do, which you'll see throughout the review. Primary fabric is Peak Design's signature Terra Shell nylon. It's made by Codra. It is a 400D, it's polycarbonate. That last word, polycarbonate in particular, is important because it's the weather resistance. Love how the water piles up on top, and I'm very familiar with this fabric because it's the same exact fabric that we use for my bag brand at Firo. I love it for how light it is, for how weather resistant it is. It's very abrasion resistant, and it just looks very fresh and very clean. Peak Design's logo is very subtle here at the northernmost point of the bag. We'll test out the water bottle pockets once the main compartment is actually fully packed out. In the day pack, we have this pocket here. Got a bit of organization, the key leash. This pocket is a little difficult to get to because of all the padding here, right? Just look at this, you're getting resistance. All this padding is pushing and keeping this panel nice and secure, looking fresh as but it just makes it a little bit harder for this to open. It's not like a very malleable one where you can really get in there. And that's just gonna be a recurring theme with not just this bag, but any Peak Design bag. This pocket has some depth to it though. It runs down to here. And this is where your system is gonna be very important. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you're a pretty systemized person, right? You're like, yes, it's finally happening. The 2-in-1 I've always dreamed about. Because you gotta keep in mind of what you're putting in this bag versus this bag and what your system is for using them, right? Are you just taking this off as your day pack once you get to your destination and therefore keeping these bags together the entire time? Or is this your carry-on, right? It's going in the bin overhead and this is your personal item. underneath the seat in front of you. Depending on how you split those rolls will dictate how you pack out these bags. I'm gonna throw my wallet in this pocket, portable battery, passport size notebook, AirPods, and some pens. This pocket's got some depth to it. All Peak Design zips on this bag are made by Ultra, one of the best zipper makers in the world. These are PU coated, which on the pro side is gonna help with weather resistance, but on the con side could look like this over time. Now, the same issue of access that we're having with this pocket, we're also having here a little bit, just stiffness, right? Like there's a lot of padding here. Padding's gonna fight your desire to really open this thing wide. You can get in there, it's fine. We got a zippered pocket right here, a second zippered pocket here, and a sleeve for your tech in the back. This tech sleeve, look at that, big enough for our 17-inch Asus VivoBook. And this zippered pocket right here also has a bit of expansion to it. I'm gonna throw my Peak Design tote in there, but as this thing is packing out, like really getting in here, is just getting tougher and tougher. Try and get my hoodie at the bottom. Looking pretty clean still. Water bottle holders. I love this fabric that Peak Design is using. It's got some texture to it. It's got like a ripstop sort of an aesthetic. 24-ounce Columbia fits very nicely in here. 1 liter Yeti on the other side. And I gotta say, Peak Design has been crushing it with their water bottle holders recently. I just did a review of the Peak Design Outdoor Backpack 18 liter, and those are some of the best water bottle holders I've seen in a long time. Like Evergood CTB26 status. These are just a little bit behind, but as you can see, they're very functional. I just don't know about the aesthetics. And this is again where we're getting a little weird here because this isn't meant to be its own backpack. This is meant to be a backpack that can attach to this backpack, which means that the water bottles have to be elevated because they have to kind of look good on here, not just on here by themselves. So I'm curious what you guys think about these water bottle holders. They look a little strange in the front to you. I mean, obviously you're not gonna be carrying two at once, but even one, it's interesting. I will say it doesn't seem to be eating into the main compartment too much. The stretchy fabric is giving the water bottles their own volume. And these are obviously great stash pockets as well. Throw your Kind bar in there, throw your shades in there, covered of course. And we're just gonna go ahead and talk about all the points in this bag because it is the front of this bag. Luggage pass-through, I think is a nice touch. Very well implemented actually. Great bar tech stitching around the edges, so it feels very secure. Loose enough to get it over the handle quite easily, but strong enough as to where I don't think the bag's gonna fall over. It feels secure, so nicely done there. Top handle, not my favorite. Peak Design has been implementing these in a lot of their new bags. It's this really interesting like rope knot kind of a design. It looks beautiful, but there's no real padding there. It's not very thick. It's just not fun to hold, but very good to hang. I will say that. Now we're gonna cover the comfort of these shoulder straps when we talk about the comfort of the bag as a whole. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Talk about the middle of the Peak Design travel backpack 2-in-1. Now moving on to the actual travel bag. Again, notice what's going on here. I mean, aesthetically, we just got this sort of boxy shape with a zipper around the entire perimeter. People will ask, why didn't they just use magnets? Magnets would not have been an option here, guys. But now I gotta admit, I'm not, not crazy about that zipper just chilling on the perimeter like this. Front pocket goes down to here. Good spot for your sunglasses, but also maybe not. Like if you've got something fragile in here and you're attaching this to the outside, then whatever's here could get smashed or compromised. At the very least, you're not gonna be able to grab it. Now we got these 1, 2, 3, 4 lash points in the front corners, which you can use these to connect onto and carry more things externally on the outside of your bag. For me, I think it's a pretty good idea for something like a big, bulky down jacket, especially if you're traveling in winter somewhere. But outside of that, it's not really my cup of tea. The travel bag has its own water bottle holders, which we will test again once the travel bag itself is fully packed out. These side handles though, I can tell you right now, not a fan as well. I love the way they look. So beautiful and well designed and very flush. No bunny ears going on right here, but it's because they use like a plastic sheet in them, which just makes them very uncomfortable to hold and to grab. I just prefer a top and or side handle that's a little more plush, a little more padded. These are definitely not the most comfortable handles I've ever tried, but on the good side, they are very well reinforced with their stitching. I'm not gonna be popping out anytime soon. Getting into the main compartment, you have these chunky UltraZips, which do have a very cool anti-theft feature where you can unbuckle them and weave them into each other, hopefully preventing a crafty thief from getting into your bag. Love the design of this, by the way. Peak Peak Design crushed that. It's just an awesome feature. Getting into the main compartment, clamshell style opening with no internal organization. Now we do have all these lash points here, which do give you entrance into Peak Design's camera modular ecosystem. If you want to use the camera cubes, you can put them in here and attach to these points, keeping them secure inside the bag. Now we have a second laptop compartment. I do get asked all the time, Aaron, what's a great travel bag that can carry 2 laptops? We got it. It's the Peak Design 2-in-1. So 2 bags equals 2 laptop compartments. Look at this, guys. This is where the laptop compartment ends, which means you've got a very nice false bottom, a huge freaking false bottom, actually. This just means that the laptop is elevated, so if your bag hits the ground, the laptop will not get destroyed. I like this zipper pocket here. It's got a nice little gusset, giving it some extra volume of its own. The zipper itself is tight, but if you can sneak something in there, it actually has a decent amount of capacity. Oh, and I forgot that in the tech compartment, actually, you got a divider, which allows you to also put your large tablet. This is a 13.5-inch. Slide that in there. This is not very well padded, so hard surface might not be a fun time, but overall I think it'll be okay. I can't say for sure. Loading up the main compartment. Got a big packing cube, a couple small packing cubes, some shoes, tech pouch, dop kit, and that's what I basically expect out of a 35-liter backpack. Let's see if it can zip it on up. Yeah, this should be perfect, actually. Not gonna lie, actually, I think the large travel bag looks pretty clean considering the fact that we have a zipper invading the entire circumference of the bag. Let's do a quick water bottle test. 24-ounce Columbia. Here, these are a little bit tighter here, guys, but as you can see, we got the Columbia in there, and with this handle, you can clip your water bottle to it, therefore giving you a little extra security. Make sure your water bottle doesn't fly all over the place. The 1-liter Yeti, a little bit more challenging, but yeah, we're in. Might even pass the upside down test. Yeah, okay, it's actually pretty secure. I'd like the water bottle holders to be a little taller, but again, 2 bag compromises. Now, speaking of a compromise, as you can see, we've sort of overpacked this bag. So let's kind of test out like how well this works when the travel bag is stuffed, because we stuffed it. You have been stuffed. We got a zipper connection point. Just then. Okay, so again, keep in mind what's happening here, guys. It's a soft good, so we're getting some bulge on this side, plus this side needs shoulder straps, right? This is a backpack. There's extra fabric and bulk going on here. I don't know if this is gonna work. Oh, you know what? That was actually impressively smooth. We are getting some catching. This is where the zipper starts. So you have this little tab that's sticking out, so you gotta just kind of tuck that away. Boom, not gonna lie, actually, pretty impressed with how easily that connected. Again, the power of zippers and using zippers there versus magnets or clippable hardware was absolutely the right call. And look what we have here with the 2 water bottle pockets, how they sort of cut down like this. That's a design choice to look more cohesive, because people are gonna look at you a little weird when you're wearing this, because it just looks like a f***ing tank on your back, and it's kind of clearly 2 backpacks-ish, but this sort of design makes it look more like one. So there is a aesthetic, visual unity, a cohesion of lines that makes it look less out there or weird. But because of that line choice, that's why the water bottle pockets are a little weird, where this one's a little shorter than I wish that it would be. I wish that it would actually be elevated by an inch or so just to get a little bit more functionality out of it. And this one is kind of strange because it's elevated higher than it typically would be, right? Like normally the water bottle holder would actually be at the bottom of the bag. So I think you get the gist, right? I'm just trying to explain a lot of the thought process behind what Peak Design is trying to do here, because there's so many things to juggle. And I guarantee you, like, they probably had this whole design brief, and then when they made the first sample, they probably discovered 20 new problems that they hadn't thought of. Like, look at this. The daypack actually sits higher on the travel pack. So it's kind of like got this lip at the bottom. And the reason being, a 12-liter daypack would look very strange if it was as tall as a 35-liter backpack. So they couldn't just make this as tall as this. That's why you have that tapered sort of an edge. But amidst all of my observations and complaining, I will admit they connected very well. They feel extremely secure. That's heavy. And there is some cohesiveness with the bags. Like, quick glance, like, oh, that's one bag, cool. That's a big bag, but that's one bag. A few more tests in this middle section. Self-standing, as you can see, not too shabby. We've got a lot of structure going on in this bag, right? And that will help to give it support, which will help it better self-stand, but it will depend on how the bag is actually packed out on the bottom. Also, you can see, as we said, there's that tapering here and that lip. So this part of the bag is not touching the ground. So if you got a lot of stuff that's heavy in the front, this will definitely tip forward. This would be the best case scenario, and this is more likely. Carry-on compliance will vary from country to country and airline to airline. I'm gonna go ahead and say that we can say without a doubt that this is never gonna be a personal item when the two bags are attached, but US personal item checker right here, and you can see a little tall, but we're in. The travel bag by itself will be too big to be a personal item as well, but should be fine for a carry-on, especially for your non-budget airlines and if you're traveling in the States. Now, before we jump into the next section, if you're enjoying this review and you're new to the channel, I'd like to welcome you again. But also, I'd like to tell you that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do epic reviews of bags and travel and EDC gear on our YouTube channel, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that newsletter, we kind of take this thing even a step further, where I'm delivering to your inbox on a weekly basis everything that's happening in this community and niche. I'm talking the newest drops, limited edition releases, industry trends, plus you get access to our top discounts that we find and our exclusive giveaways. I know that I can rant a little bit and I go really super nerdy into the details here, so if you're still here, there's a chance that you might be enjoying that. And if that's the case, I can guarantee you, you're gonna freaking love the Nomads Nation newsletter. We put so much time and effort into it. It's a one-of-a-kind resource, and you can sign up to it by finding this globe emoji in the description below. Hope to see you in your inbox. All right, let's talk about the back of the Peak Design 2-in-1 travel backpack. Top handle on the large travel bag, I prefer much more than the top handle of the small one. This is beefy, well padded, beautiful material, and incredibly well stitched on either side. We also have a sideways luggage pass-through holder right here. Plenty of space to slide onto your suitcase handle, although it will require you to carry your backpack on your suitcase sideways. Let's talk about comfort, starting with the small guy. Because keep in mind, guys, it's a small bag. 15 liters advertised capacity. I think it's closer to like 12 liters. But that's a small bag. Like, it doesn't have to be like super cush, super comfortable. This is not too big. We got these shoulder straps here, which again, talking about compromises, these shoulder straps had to be good, comfortable backpack shoulder straps, but they also had to be the right size to fit in between the two backpacks and underneath that zipper. So they had to have a little bit more, let's say, malleability to them, a little bit more packability. And if this were like a 25-liter backpack, I would not be cool with it. These just wouldn't be comfortable and padded enough for me. But because it's a smaller bag, I think it totally works. Straps are connected via nylon webbing at the top, which gives them a really nice range of motion. They're a little thin, coming in at just under 2 inches, but honestly at 12 to 15 liters capacity, we're at half a centimeter of depth. I'm cool with it though, just because of the size of the bag. We also have a sternum strap, which can help redistribute the weight from your lower back to your upper torso. And Peak Design included web holders, AKA dangle stoppers, on these bad boys as well. Let's talk about the larger bag, where the comfort is a little bit more, it's okay. It gets the job done. I think that if you're looking for the world's most comfortable travel backpack, I never, ever would have recommended Peak Design before. And that's not just like my perspective. If you Google Peak Design travel backpack uncomfortable, you will find a plethora of people all over the web over the past 10 years complaining that the Peak Design travel backpack is amazing, feature heavy, functional masterpiece, but lacking on comfort. And a big reason for that, in my opinion, was because they had the coolest shoulder strap stowaway system I've ever seen, where you have this swivel right here, and it would allow you to bring the shoulder straps around and hide them underneath this panel right here, which close magnetically. But to do that, the shoulder straps have to be thin enough to fit underneath that panel. And Peak Design, thankfully, in my opinion, did not carry that feature over to this bag, which then allowed them to make these shoulder straps a bit more on the chunkalicious side. We got really nice padding going on here. They're still way too thin, in my opinion, as we're just at about 2¼ inches width. But I will give them credit, it does extend to 3 inches width, a little bit further down the shoulder strap. And the padding density is, again, not my favorite. We're just slightly over 1 cm, so it's good. It's an improvement. And same thing with the back panel. We've got this sort of washboard foam system underneath here, a really nice fabric, plenty of ventilation going on here, and an included hip belt, which let's talk about it. Because I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. I like it because it comes with the bag, and a bag this size, like especially when combined, it's a big travel bag. We're getting older, guys, and our backs are hurting more and more. So a hip belt like this helps to redistribute the weight from your back to your hips. And a really great hip belt will actually almost allow you to carry the bag on your hips by itself. This is not one of those bags. Also though, that's not just a Peak Design thing. That's sort of a hiking bag versus urban travel bag thing. Hiking bags nail the hip belt because of the shape of the hiking bag and the shape and size of the hip belt to be able to accomplish that feat. Versus this, like, you don't want a big old Osprey hip belt on this thing. It would ruin the whole aesthetic. So we gotta kind of cut down on that to make these work. But I will say for an urban bag, these hip belts are great. We got a really nice landing pad at 4 inches and over a cm of padding there as well. So it's got some comfort. I'm not as into the stowaway system though. You can see we have a little entrance right here for the hip belt, but the sewing reconnects right here. So to get it in, you can't just like slide it in. So you will have to sort of fold it and bring it under. And it's not too bad when the bag is empty. It's a little bit harder when the bag is fully packed out, right? Because you're fighting with whatever's happening in here. But as you saw, I got it in there pretty easy. Less than 5 seconds. Now I also forgot to mention that although Peak Design didn't do the traditional shoulder strap stowage system, they still give you the option to stow the shoulder straps. You just gotta unclip here, and then you can stow them away through the top of the back panel. But here's where we have another problem. This is the same panel that you'll be stowing away the hip belt, which is right here, which means shoulder strap and hip belt are fighting with each other. Hip belt is now right here, and then as I put the shoulder strap in, it got here, and there's not a lot of space because this bag is really packed out. So this is just Peak Design doing what they do best, saying, hey, here's a million features, and they're not always gonna work out very well together, but it's up for you to make it work. And also the hip belt is removable. Forgot about that. Get to that in a second. For the shoulder strap, you can see now that I've removed the hip belt, slides in significantly easier. Still takes a little bit of work, but no matter what, these things always take a bit of work, especially when the bag is fully packed out. And now you can see the shoulder strap is actually poking out of the bottom here, right? So limited and tight real estate behind this back panel to stow away 2 separate things. So you might wanna pop off the hip belt and throw it into the main compartment. And this is done by a swivel system. You can go ahead and clip that into place. Yeah, pretty well. You got some nice range of motion. Oops, that was not connected. Let's try again. There you go, now we're in. There's that range of motion I'm talking about. Last note on the hip belt, we have this front pocket here, which I think is very nicely designed. Love this stretchy fabric being utilized, and there's a nice little gusset at the bottom, meaning something a little bit bulkier, like your AirPods can fit in there, but it's not gonna fit your passport. This is a passport size notebook. You can see, not intended for that, so it's definitely a little bit smaller of a pocket. And then on the other hip belt, we have these 2 lash points, which I believe work with Peak Design's capture clip system, I think it's called, which is for photographers out there. You can clip your camera onto here for quick access. I will admit though, guys, once you get these things out, they're a little difficult to get back in. Again, tight underneath this back panel. Okay, got it. I think it's one of these things that will drive you crazy at first, but then after you get it, you get it. No, didn't get it. Okay, got it. Okay, now it's time for the most crucial part of this review. Let's talk about the overall pros and cons of the Peak Design 2-in-1 travel backpack. Pro number 1, the zipper connection between the 2 bags works very well. Pro number 2, I do think the water bottle situation does provide a lot of functionality. I actually really like these water bottle holders. And number 3 for me is improved shoulder strap comfort, especially when compared to the original Peak Design travel backpack. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they're better. Now let me give you my cons. And there's a lot of cons that we could focus on because of all the compromises that have to happen to make this 2-in-1 fusion work. But I'll just focus on the 3 that would worry me the most or just annoy me the most. Con number 1 is going to be just how big, bulky, and tank-like this bag is, especially when the bags are fused as one. Con number 2 is just how complicated the bag is, especially just from like a user experience perspective. And con number 3 is going to be the inner fighting between the shoulder straps and the hip belt, as they're both trying to fight for that space underneath the back panel. Okay, you ready, big guy? Let's take these overall pros and cons, mash them together, and give you our overall scores. Should be noted for these overall scores, they are personal, just based on my experience using the bag. For comfort, I'm gonna give it, God, it's so hard because it's like 3 bags in one. So when the bags are together, I think the comfort is like, actually, you know what? It's not too bad. Actually, the hip belt, pretty good. Could have used a bit more padding on the shoulder straps and a bit more width too. Not crazy about the shoulder straps. I'm gonna give it 2.5 out of 5, just kind of very like middle of the road. And also keep in mind, it's heavy. But for the comfort of the smaller bag, give it its own independent score. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Mainly because of how small it is. It doesn't need to be extremely comfortable. The shoulder straps work, nice padding. The bag feels pretty light. It's definitely a very breezy carrying experience, especially when compared to the tank. Next up, value. You know, it's really hard to value something that doesn't really have much of a competitor on the market. I've seen other bags try and do the 2-in-1. Osprey has a few, some bags that I've seen in the past also have attempted this, but no bag has quite nailed this before. And I'm not saying that Peak Design like nailed it, but if this is something that's really important to you, a 2-in-1 bag combination that can connect together, the value is gonna be pretty impressive because there's not a lot of options out there. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. And for overall scores, I'm gonna give you 2, because it depends on what side of the spectrum you're on. If you're the type of person that I said earlier, like you see this and it just clicks for you. You're like, yes, this is a personal bag / day bag, and this is the carry-on, and they connect, and this is the bag of my dreams. Then I'm gonna give this like a 5 out of 5 because I don't think there's any other better options in the market. Like Peak Design has innovated, and they did something that's going to be absolutely what you're looking for. But on the flip side, if you are not that person, I'm gonna give this like a 1 out of 5 because I don't think the compromises are worth it. I think that the traditional system of big old travel backpack and then like a compressible or foldable or packable, actual like regular backpack inside there is a classic, and it works really well. So the overall score is just a spectrum depending on what it is that you value. This could be your nightmare bag, like it would be for me, or it could be your dream bag, which if you're still watching this, it probably is for you. And if that's the case and you're thinking about making a purchase, just a reminder, we do recommend doing so with the first link in the description. We're always trying to negotiate discount codes with the brands that we review. So if we ever have it, that's where you'll find it. And also that link, just make sure that you get the best price. Thank you very much. But if you're not quite sold, let's talk alternatives. First up, if you are new to Nomads Nation, you should definitely check out our leaderboard rankings video. This is where myself and the rest of the Nomads Nation team, we get together and we pick our favorite bags in different bag categories, many of those categories being travel bags and personal item bags, with the goal of this video just being for you to get an idea of what the best bags are in the market. I've gone ahead and linked that above. Also, in case you don't know, here at Nomads Nation, after reviewing about 300 bags, I decided to start my own bag brand. I mentioned it before, it's called Firo. And there's a lot of similarities between Peak Design and Firo. We have similar tastes in fabrics and lifetime warranty, premium materials, but we also do things very differently. Peak Design are innovators with features and just doing stuff like this, you know, versus Firo, we go very simple, much more minimalist, as our goal is to help modern professionals keep streamlined and focused. You can learn more about Firo at firo.co or with the second link in the description. But we're very close. With the Peak Design Travel Backpack 2-in-1, here's 2 recommendations that might get you a little closer. And this one's a little bit different, guys, because normally I'd make 2 recommendations for a bag that is similar to the bag we're reviewing, but there's no bags that I've tested that are similar to this. Like I said, if this is what you're looking for, then this is gonna be as good as it gets. Peak Design did some incredible stuff here. So my alternatives are gonna be, if you are in the market for a travel bag and a day bag, what I think the best combination of those 2 things is gonna be. My travel bag recommendation is going to be the Tortuga Travel Backpack Lite. This is a great pick for you if you have some money to spend, you don't mind splurging a bit on something that's the cream of the crop. Tortuga, like Peak Design, uses some of the world's best materials. I just think it's a better travel backpack in terms of like really honing in on comfort, capacity, and comfort again. Like it's so comfortable. And then my recommendation for a travel bag as your day bag to pair with that is gonna be the Ergo Pack 2. This is for you if you're looking for that day bag when you get to your destination, but you don't want it to be like a little flimsy plastic bag. You want it to have some structure to it. You want it to actually be comfortable to wear both on your back and on your shoulders, but it needs to be either foldable or compressible, like flat packable, so it can fit in your large travel bag so it doesn't take up a lot of space. That's the old school method. This is the new school method. Honestly, both are great. You just gotta figure out which system you prefer. If you want to check out more of that old school method with my Tortuga and Air combination, you can just go ahead and watch these videos here. If you got any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron. This is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you guys next time.